Beauty Professor, and you can find my beauty blog at beautyprofessor.net. I had every intention of filming a video earlier this month, but between preparing for a trip and then actually traveling and not having the time or the setup to make filming a reality, here I am at the end of the month filming something for you, my lovely and esteemed subscribers. Today is a tutorial of sorts, sharing with you my everyday fall beauty routine. And of course, as a beauty editor, I am testing so many different things each week, but I try to just hand select these staples that have become a part of my routine for this past month and show you how I like to use them. Demonstrating this routine in real time for you, and can't wait to hear what you think about it. I'm starting out with basically a bare face, but I want to address the skincare that I have already applied. So I began by washing my face with a dime-sized amount of the African Botanics Marula Buchu Botanical Enzyme Polish. And this has been an interesting staple in my routine as of late. You can use it 2 to 3 times a week. It's granular and it's a beautiful exfoliant, a natural exfoliant. I have very sensitive skin, and I have found that this does not in any way irritate my skin. So I began with that. Then I applied a couple of drops of the new unequivocally Miracle Facial Oil, which I've been experimenting with for the past week. It is light, instantly absorbed oil. It can be used day and night on all skin types, and it has a glass dropper for precise kind of extraction of the oil itself. So I find that 2 drops or so covers my entire face. It's very thin and light feeling. I never feel greasy with this oil, and I can't wait to keep trying it, and certainly I'll weigh back after I've given it a comprehensive skincare test, 4 weeks or so. But in the meanwhile, that's what I applied next as a hydrator, serum, kind of initial skincare step. Following that, I did a little bit of beauty skincare alchemy and mixed up a pump of the new Veil Sunset Light Primer Serum and mixing base with, of course, my perennial favorite, the Beaute Peau Vierge in shade number 2. So I just kind of did a drop of each and then mixed it together and apply that all over my face as a primer with a slight tint. I've talked about the Peau Vierge many times over, but just to address the Veil momentarily, the latest release from the Veil line, which is known for its click pens that are a skin perfector. It's a concealer, highlighter, almost foundation all in one, and I've covered that before, so I'll link to my reviews on that. This can be used with those click pens. You can mix it up to create your own custom coverage foundation, or certainly with any other base product that you're interested in maybe cutting or shearing out. I, like I said, tried it as a primer today, which is another option. Very translucent, and when it blends into the skin, it just creates a soft, dewy, almost airbrushed glow, but it's not really imparting any pigment. I love how well it mixes with other products, and that's why I tried mixing it with the Peau Vierge. And certainly I'll be talking about this further in future blog posts. On to base. So I've received many requests to demonstrate how I apply the Temp 2 Air Foundation. Been using it a lot since receiving it well over a month ago, and I have it in shade 05, which is beige, and also in warm beige, which I believe is 06. And I find that warm beige is a good match for my NC 25 to 27 skin right now. Beige is just a touch lighter and will work for me very well in the winter. I love that I can apply an entire foundation routine without any brushes or beauty blenders in a matter of seconds, and I'll demonstrate this in real time for you. So you just turn on the machine, and this lever here allows you to control the intensity of the coverage. I have it on 3, which means that I'm already getting medium to full coverage, but if I pull this down further, then it even imparts more color. So I'll start here, and I need to close my eyes because I wear contacts, and that I guess should tell you how effectively this works even when I'm not looking at what I'm doing. I'm always a little concerned about getting airbrush material on my contacts because my eyes are so sensitive, so I just close them up, especially when I'm in the upper region of my face. Here we go. So you just do tiny circles about 4 to 6 inches away. It just feels very cooling. You don't even feel like any product is getting on your face. And what I find is that even if I was watching in the mirror, it wouldn't look much like I was applying foundation. I couldn't really see it on my skin until I give it about 10 seconds at the end to dry down. I'll go over my more pigmented areas right in the center of my face a little more. Of course, the perimeter, and you can just easily blend it down the neck. And that's it. Post Temps to Air. You can see my skin is evened out. It's a little dewy right now, but that dewiness will dry down as it sets over the next 20 seconds or so. And that's the entirety of my foundation routine. I'm now going to go ahead and add some other complexion products, starting with the Clé de Peau Beauty Bronzing Powder in 01. I've discussed this on my blog before and certainly swatched it there. I just find that it's a wonderful kind of transitional season bronze. It's tan, but not too deep. It has just a slightly satin finish. I think it hovers beautifully between radiant and matte, and it looks ultra natural on the skin. I'm going to use it in my typical bronzing places to just warm up my face and add a little depth. And I'm using my Chikuhodo 04 brush from the GSN series. It's always in my makeup bag. I love it. So I'll just put some on the brush and apply. A little bit on the jawline for depth and a touch just down the bridge of my nose. I'm fairly imprecise when it comes to bronzer, typically because I'm applying it quickly in the morning. So I can't use a bronzer that's too pigmented. And I find that this one has just the right balance of pigmentation to do something but not be over. It's at this point you'll probably notice that the foundation is really set in. It's one of those things I just have to avoid the temptation of blending or buffing, because I know that if I give it enough time, typically less than a minute, it'll do its own thing without me having to interfere. On to the next step of my cheek process. I'm going to add just a little pink to my cheeks. Not a lot, because I'm loving kind of just a neutral, very clean face lately. I'm using the Chantecialle Cheek Gelee in the shade Happy. I've reviewed it on the blog as well. This is a gorgeous hybrid of stain and radiance, and it dries down to an imperceptible finish, just looks like skin, but you still look lit from within. So I'm using a little bit on my hand and using just my fingers to tap it into my cheeks here. And you can see that pink effect already with a touch of radiance. It's so pretty, and I imagine this would flatter a host of skin tones because it does deepen a little bit. It looks very pale at first, but it deepens to just a very natural radiant flush. This is new in the Chantecialle line, and I highly recommend it. I've been using it non-stop. And that's it for cheek. While I'm still evening out my complexion, I'm going to use a touch of the Clé de Peau concealer in shade Beige, and I'm just putting it directly from the bullet in my under eye region. I'll go ahead and blend this out right now because I'm working with a fairly light eyeshadow mix and I'm not terribly worried about fallout, but if I was, I might leave this on through my entire makeup application process until eyes were finished. I'm using my Jenny Patinkin multi-blender brush. I have quite a few of these tucked away strategically in my house, and I'm just going to very gently, as one must be in the under eye region, just tap the concealer into the orbital area. I have been using so much the Tom Ford Illuminating Duo here. It's called Moodlight. I've been using it since its release in mid to late summer. I'm working with the Giorgio Armani Maestro Contouring Powder Brush, which is part of a new brush release for the Armani line. These brushes are just pure luxury, and this one works so well with this particular product. So I'm going to just take a little bit of the darker rose gold shade and draw that through my lower cheek area. A little bit down the bridge of the nose. I'm going to go back through the perimeter of my face, and this will impart a bit of color, but a nice round of illumination as well. I just feel like this finishes the face so nicely. I'm really glad that it seems to be a part of the permanent collection now. And now that I've taken care of the dark side of the duo, I'm going to go to the lighter side and use the same brush and just bring a little bit through my upper cheekbones like this. Wow, and the combination with this brush doing the work, it just creates the nicest fusion of powder on the skin. So it looks ultra natural. Before I move on to eyes, I want to just address a few details going on. My dress today is from Lush, and it is just kind of like a brown and black Henley swingy, very comfortable casual dress. I'll see if I can link to that, if I can find it online for you. I picked mine up at a boutique, but I imagine because it's a fairly mainstream line, we'll be able to find a link for it. Also, I am wearing a new tri-gold antique necklace from one of my favorite antique stores in Seal Beach called Alameda's Antiques. It is so unique. It's from the 70s. It's a vintage piece, and it just has some structure so it lies flat and doesn't move. And I do love necklaces that lie close to the neck. And then additionally, I don't have any hair products going on in my hair today, but I've been using so much of this Michael Mercier detangling brush. It's for thick hair. Honestly, my husband and I saw this on like an infomercial. We got sucked in and we ordered it because I'm constantly battling tangles with my long, thick hair. That being said, this really does work for me. I am so stunned by how well it removes tangles. It's been a life changer as of late, and even though I brought a few brushes on my most recent trip to Florida, this is all I use the entire day. It is rapidly changing, and hopefully I'll be able to maintain enough light to get through the rest of this quick tutorial. So on my nails, I'm wearing a neutral combination of 2 shades. The Sally Hansen Complete Salon Manicure in Beige Glass. That name just calls my name. And it is, as the name would imply, just kind of a sheer, beautiful, neutral, light beige. I believe it's a part of the collaboration that Sally Hansen did with the Rodarte line. And then on top of that, I have added the RMS nail polish in Luminizer. That is the shade. And just like the Living Luminizer highlighter, this nail polish can be worn alone to just brighten up the nails, or you can wear it over a shade for just a very subtle pearlescent sheen. I am loving this. It's been in my purse nonstop, and I really appreciate the effect it gives over a nail polish, but certainly on its own, it's a super easy way to just make your nails look better than they were initially. To begin with the eyes, I will start with the brows. Now I'm using the Jenny Patinkin angled brow brush. It has dense bristles that are firm, so they deposit whatever brow product you're using just effortlessly. And I'm using, in this case, the Votre Vu. It's called the Arch de Triomphe. It's a brow wax / cream, and it's in the shade Fair, which is actually a befitting match for my ash brown, kind of medium to dark brown brow. And I'm just going to brush it straight through like this, basically maintaining the natural line of my brows as they are. I do very little with my brows as a rule. I'm just brushing the same direction as the hairs and blending, and really that just adds a bit more definition and polish. In terms of shadow, I'm going to be working with a singular compact that I think embodies the most beautiful essence of brown and taupe in a shimmery fashion. This is the Chantecialle Le Chrome Duo in Tibet, and it has a darker kind of fawny brown, if you will, and then a shimmering light taupe. I'll be applying the shadow with the Artis Oval 4 brush, and I think I've demonstrated application with that before, but I'm just going to dab it into the eyeshadow and then buff it onto my eyelids like so. Really just focusing on blending, and I'm taking it all the way across my lids. You can see I have almost just like a wash of color going on right now. I think this is the warmest option in the Chrome Duos from Chantecialle. I have the other 2. They're beautiful, but they're cooler. So I was very excited to see that they released a kind of warm brown combination. And now I'm going to use the same brush and tap it into the lighter shade, and then bring that up to my brow bone like this. So it just seamlessly blends for a radiant finish. I love having light right at the brow bone area, but not bright pearly light, more like a subtle taupey light. And I'm going to take this Pixie flat liner brush. I was just looking for a tiny little brush to get into the lower region, because while this does a great job on the lids, I think it's got a little too much girth for the under region of the lashes. So I'll take a little bit of a combination of both shades for a custom blend, and then bring it along here like so, just for some continuity and also a little extra depth in the under eye region. Like, as far as I'm concerned, that eye could not be easier to achieve. 2 colors in the same palette for a complex finish, and all I really need now are some lashes. I'm going to work with the Tom Ford Extreme Mascara in Raven, which is the black shade. I picked this up in Florida when I was out of town last week. I don't know why it took me so long to try this formula. My goodness, it is absolutely impeccable. The brush is angled almost to a thin triangle, so the smallest area here gets into that hard to reach inner lash section, and the outer lash section is taken care of by a thicker side of the brush. This has some fibers, but they don't irritate my contacts at all, and the lash effect that you get is just, has such an impact right away. This is like 2 coats here, and you can see the difference. Lashes, way less lashes. And I'll finish my lashes by using the Surratt Releve Lash Curler, my absolute favorite tool for the lashes. Troy Surratt is an absolute makeup genius, and this tool is always within an arm's reach for me. And I'll just pinch this in. I don't even have to pinch for very long, and I just get great curl. It gives a beautiful wide awake look, and it, I think, maximizes the time you spend on your eyes. It's worth it to just spend 5 more seconds completely finishing the look. Finally, for lips, I am going to use 3 products to create what I might deem as the quintessential nude pink lip. I'm always on a quest for nude pink shades, and certainly I have an obscene amount in my collection, but lately I've been grabbing for these 3 products. First, I've been applying the Métier de Beauté lip liner. It's a waterproof liner in the shade Nylon, and it's a lovely nude pink that's lighter, that you can see, than my natural lip color. And I'm going to maintain just right at the ridges of my lips here. I'm not going to overline, just keeping it right in there. And you can see that it just mutes out some of my natural depth in my lips. I'll go ahead and apply the NARS Audacious Lipstick in Raquel. I recently rediscovered this in my collection, and you can see I've used a good half of this tube. I forgot how much I loved it. It is a beautiful warm nude pink. I'm just applying it straight from the bullet here. And this is the finished look with the lip liner and the lip color. And then to just enhance with a touch of shine the overall result, I'm going to be applying the Chanel Rouge Allure Gloss in shade 22, which is ideal. I picked it up last week on a trip, and I've been using it daily. I love the way that this mechanism works. And ideal is an opaque, shimmering light pink. Just putting it across here, I'm really appreciative of the lasting power of this gloss. It's different than most gloss formulas. It has shine, but it also stays in place, and I find that my lips stay hydrated for hours. So this is the final new lip look, and once again, it's been something I've been creating day after day, so I was very excited to share it with you guys. And finally, to finish the face, I have been using a lot of this Burberry. It's the Fresh Glow Compact in shade 20, which is Ochre. And I just use a little bit with a fingertip right now and just move it along my nose area for a little mattifying, a little bit right in here, in the T-zone, touch on the chin, and a little bit through here. I don't want to compromise the luminosity I've just worked hard to create, but this really sets makeup in the areas where makeup tends to slide off on my face. This powder is amazing. You can see I've made a dent in it. It also comes with a powder sponge applicator, which I can use for touch-ups on the go, but I find that a little goes a long way. It's pigmented like a foundation powder, and it is my favorite Burberry powder formula to date. I'm going to use a touch of the SK2 Midday Essence, which I really do use in the middle of my day to refresh my face because I'm still teaching in a pretty warm environment, but sometimes I like to, at the end of a full face, just spritz lightly a little bit of this Patera. And I know that it's giving my skin benefits, but it also creates just like a dewy, healthy, radiant, natural finish on the face. You never want to look overdone. Certainly I don't. And so I use that to mitigate any excess particles that might be not fully blended in. And so concludes this makeup tutorial. I welcome your questions and your comments and would love to know what products you've been integrating into your fall routine. And I warmly invite you to come visit me at Beauty Professor, which can be found at beautyprofessor.net. Take care.